I'm just waiting for it to click over. What was that?
So they feel very
She's
far
so.
away.
You're in a little corner now.
I know.
It still says waiting.
When
Are
we
you
have one
sure?
more, I'm gonna be moved even further down. It takes a
There you
second
go.
to send a
Test.
Yeah. It takes a second to send a
There you go. There you go. All right. Tonight is the Almont DDA monthly meeting, November 20th, 2024. We're going to call it to order at 7:01 p.m. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Let's do roll call.
Scott White,
Here.
Krista Booth,
Present.
Tim Dyke,
Present.
Holly Miller, Andy Rose,
Present.
Melissa Schneider,
Present.
Ashley Glasser,
Present.
Charlie Kroll.
All right. First, I want to say thank you and welcome Tim as our new village president. Welcome to the board. Scott, welcome. This
Thank
is
you.
your official meeting, so thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Charlie is out of town doing reconnaissance for the future car show, from what he tells us. So that's there. So anyway, let's get going. But I just want to say welcome. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
We have our village manager here to speak to us. I was going to add him under communications so he could start us off.
That's fine. You're first.
Even before the minutes and everything.
That's right.
You
Right at
are
the
you are
top,
front and
Dale.
center, sir.
Well, I wanted to come and just mention to the DDA board that in discussions yesterday with the council, it was brought up that the council would like to have a committee of 3 DDA members assigned so that, and they will form a committee of 3 council members to get together, talk about all kinds of things going on in the village, the actions and activities between the DDA and the council, and hopefully expand communications where there are some difficulties in the past, and that way the council can be more informed with the activities ongoing with the DDA, and the DDA can be more in lock and step with the council. Additionally, there was discussion about the cover for the fountain downtown. We reached out, we're in the process of attempting to receive a grant to cover the cost of a more elaborate, heavy-duty cover for the fountain. The council wanted to also go on record as saying they will purchase the cover regardless of the success of the grant. So they wanted you to know that the cover that I had written the DDA about purchasing, the council has offered to pay for that to put it in place when the time comes. So that's it. That's what I wanted to make sure I mentioned. Anything else?
That on the committee, I don't count as 2.
Hmm?
On the appointed committee, I don't count as 2. DDA and
Oh, yeah,
council.
we didn't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll discuss that. In light cover is old business fountain cover is old business 5. So we'll talk about the offer
Okay.
then with what we're doing.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dale.
Thanks, Dale.
All right. No other communications? Any public comment for an agenda item? Nope. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Motion to approve?
Hitting us right out the gate. I like it.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approve. All right, let's move forward. Approval of minutes. There's 2 sets of minutes in here. We got to do them separately. One is for the October 23 normal meeting minutes, and the second one is for the closed session minutes. Closed session minutes were already passed around. Everybody's already looked at them. They are not in your packet. I don't know what to do with Steve down here.
I'm waiting for those amendments, so.
Motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Clarification of which minutes?
First minute, sorry. Make the
Yeah.
motion to approve the normal minutes.
Motion to approve the normal, regular meeting minutes?
Thank you. Krista still second.
I second.
Oh,
I
Ashley,
still
sorry.
second, yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now,
Should high five Melissa.
yeah, first time. Now go to if somebody wants to motion for the closed.
I'll make the motion to approve the closed session meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. All right, let's move forward. Approval of bills payable.
I do have some clarification on that. The mobile shrink wrap was within our spending limit, and we had already discussed and voted on that. So I had the check cut from the village on Tuesday so that we would have it for when he comes next Wednesday.
Did we already receive the shrink wrap?
He will be here to install it on Wednesday.
So if we are talking about taking the village up on doing the cover, then
I can shred the check, however, if we're gonna take the village up on the offer, it's still gonna be 2 to 3 weeks out. That's my only concern is the water inside freezing. But yeah, we can,
I mean, I don't want to spend money on shrink wrap and then we're switching over to something else. If we don't have to pay for it, but then in the meantime, when we talked to Legacy, did they tell us how long it would take approximately for that to be made?
3 weeks, correct?
Yeah. So can we discuss this now, even though it's a future item? Or do we have to wait till that?
Well,
very
either way, I'm gonna remove 750 from the total and we will, because either way, that doesn't have to be.
All right, let's remove it and can we make that motion in that, to approve the check in the other one?
We already,
Well,
we
already
don't need
approved it,
to
that's right.
approve it because we are.
All right, so then approve it without.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills payable in the amount of $285.95.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, get the bills paid. Moving to October revenue and expenditure report, we're going to need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the revenue and disbursement report as stated for the month of October.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's approved. Move forward. October check disbursement report.
I had a question about this.
Mm-hmm.
What is on the second page for 10/29/24? It's for the Village of Almont for the Pocket Park, and then 117 School Street. Are those taxes or?
Yes, those are the taxes.
Okay.
I don't believe that should say Pocket Park. That should. Can I check with Kim on the Pocket Park one? Because that doesn't. The 117 School Street is the taxes for that, but
Yeah.
that's 744.15. Let me check with Kim on that because I think that might be mislabeled.
Okay.
It should be because we don't pay tax on that
but we did have a second tax bill
for the school street on the purchase.
and for the lot that never got switched at the
Oh,
the Steve Francis's lot, but let me check with her. And
Okay.
I'll get back to you.
so the approval should, or the motion should be to approve a meeting, further discussion or clarification on that.
Okay.
Actually, I think is that not the water bill?
That's what I was wondering, if it was the water bill or if it is for.
I would say go with clarification.
Yep,
It's
I'll-
probably the water bill
I'll-
because of the fact
I
that,
believe that was the amount for our last quarter water bill, but I will double check with him on that.
it looks like it, because that was the time we had the leak issue, right?
Mhm.
That would be, I mean, the Pocket Park having that much more for of a taxes, that would be interesting, so. I will make a motion to approve the October check disbursement, pending further clarification of the $872.99.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, that's approved. All right, director's report, or I'm sorry, DPW report, everybody's got that in there. If there's specific questions or thoughts, let us know. If not, director's report, Miss Angela, anything you want to touch upon and what you've been doing?
I don't know if there's anything that isn't already in the report. I went to the MDA annual conference at the beginning of the month. It was in Ann Arbor, and it was great for networking and also very informational. I am working on the Small Business Saturday punch cards, distributing those. Merchant Trick or Treat was amazing. If you didn't get downtown for it, it was great weather, just very windy, but we had over 400 kids at least stop by the DDA table. Holiday, we're getting float registrations almost daily, so that's great. I met with Finance Committee on our benches. There's a quote in there for the ones we were considering. I'm still talking to them about getting clarification on the engraving, but there's no rush on those because I want our current benches to stay for the winter season so that we don't deteriorate new ones. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, I am open, but I think everything else is listed in my report.
We did a ribbon cutting today for Mother Earth. That went well.
We did a ribbon cutting last
Oh.
Friday with Senior Victors too. I guess I
Correct.
did not put that in there.
Yeah.
That
So-
went well.
And again, everybody's working, not everybody's in town, but if you can make them great, it was a good turnout today. They really enjoyed it. Lapeer, I say DDA, but not Chamber was there. So it was a very, very nice event. They're very nice people. Talked to them for a while again. So he's originally from here, and she's, I think, from here as well, but he is. So he said he was an 04 graduate. So
Also want to thank our village manager as well as all of our village office employees because they came today and it really filled up the room and I was very appreciative to have them all in attendance.
Right.
So thank you. Oh yeah, and they spent a lot of money there.
yeah. All right. Let's move on to new business. Finance, thankfully, Holly doesn't have to be here to abstain. So this is for her facade grant application for the 45633. That's for the signage.
Correct, and she put the front pictures in there. She also got some signage on the back, but it looks great.
Yep. And look, an invoice. That was nice to have.
Yep, she sent invoice pictures and her email correspondence about her sign permit, so everything is there.
Well, everything looks in order. It's under the $500 that we allow for the facade grant. And she's got her detailed invoice and pictures. So I will make a motion to approve the facade grant application for 130 South Main Street in the amount of $456.33.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, perfect. Get her reimbursed. All right, so going into discussion, do you want to bring that up on there? The slideshow, it's probably going to be full page it.
Do we have to enable editing to do
Yeah. Go to view, or go to slideshow up at the top. Go to full page. There you go. Oh, it's not going to be big enough, is it? Can we pause the meeting to have you make copies of this for everybody on the board then? Yeah. Yeah. Why don't we
Kind
take,
of blurry too.
let's take a 5-minute break real quick. We're going to have her make copies of this for the board.
You have a copy already or do I have to print it?
No, here, just make copies. Oh, we've already fixed it on.
I think it's on the website.
Yeah,
No, on that.
no, we can't.
Okay.
Right, we'll get that fixed later.
Okay.
All right, we'll go to a 5-minute. Hey, make it up for all if they want. Sorry, I figured it'd be legible, but I guess not.
Come on. Just kidding. Come on.
It looked good for my computer screen anyway.
Oh. He came just in case something said show up. Yeah, yeah.
Blue are here.
Hmm?
I said the boys in blue are here. You know they don't look familiar. Huh?
There was a new one introduced last night, right?
Hmm.
Right? They,
Their new officer introduced last night?
Yes,
yeah.
Is that him?
yes. Yes. The one on the end.
I was gonna say, it didn't look familiar. And from the camera, I could only see back, so.
Read your text. Wow. Papers under your chair for me seen on camera. The papers on your chair are visible. Just to let you know.
Thanks.
Okay, don't forget.
Shouldn't stop back there.
Hmm?
Shouldn't stop back there.
She should be. She's making enough for here, and if anybody from the audience wants them, save them for having to take pictures. Thank you, ma'am.
Wait, I sit down. I still have one more pass down. Do you want me to hand some out? If you want. One more. Anyone want one?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm good, ma'am. Thank you. All right, let me know when you're ready. All right, we're back from the break. Sorry, technical difficulties. Couldn't see on the screen, so we had to print it. It's 7:26 right now, just in case we need to. I've had many discussions with our DDA attorney over the last, well, months, if not last couple days for sure. At the last village council meeting, it was accused that we aren't transparent enough. So we're going to give you all the transparency you want to see. So the best part is I'm guided by our DDA attorney with all this information, and he is the one that's told me how to deal with it. So, and this will also be on our webpage, ASAP, full transparency. So there's the first one on the agenda, legal opinion DDA bylaws. The village council meeting that occurred on November 6, 2024, Councilmember Pete Feldman challenged the DDA bylaws, stating that business interest only is ownership of a building along with paying village taxes. With that logic, a lease business would not qualify as a DDA membership. Councilmember, just a note, Councilmember Feldman voted no on appointing Scott White, stating that we do not have a majority of business ownership because we don't have enough business owners. Although Councilmember Feldman motioned to approve Charlie Kroll, who is a DDA resident, but he's not an owner. He's an apartment lease and not a village taxpayer. So and again, everything that I'm going to be talking through here, our attorney has also watched all the village council meetings that pertain to this, all of our DDA meetings, witnessed public comment. He's went through all of it. So as you can see, there's a list of our appointments. I will make a notation on here. Ashton Glasser, thankfully, is no longer employed by her current employer, so she is just a village resident. So if you flip to the second page, going to first one, our bylaws, we reviewed all of our bylaws. And again, bylaws are written to match exactly the state statute and the state law. And we are following our bylaws to the T. Business, we don't need to be business owners. You need to have a business interest. Those of us who have leased spaces do qualify, and I'm going to show you his 2-page legal opinion coming up after. And the other record is we've went over this now 3 times to try to prove how our bylaws work with village council, trying to explain this. This is why he said, I'm just going to write a legal opinion. So hopefully that ends your guys' questioning. All right. But interesting enough, when we're going through the ordinances, looking at everything, the village has an ordinance that's actually illegal. Ordinance number 139.5 shows not less than 3 members shall be of having a business interest. You cannot write an ordinance superseding state law. So the village, per his direction, should probably look at rescinding that ordinance. Okay. And again, he also says you might want to talk to your attorney, but that is his direction. If you take a look at the next page, is his 2-page letter explaining how the bylaws work, legal excerpts to prove that a lease has financial interest in a building, and the fact that challenging that, as he said, has no merit. Okay. So going forward, we are satisfied. We just need a majority of business interest. Business interest is employee, leasee such as I am, what have you. Okay. He also did clarify that the village resident can also count for 2 different things. So if they're a business owner and village resident, we can use them for both.
DDA district resident.
DDA district resident, sorry. So we can use that for both. Okay. So hopefully that puts that argument to bed. Unfortunately, it's been talked about more times than we ever need. But Tim, please take that back to your village council member and show him proof that he's wrong yet again.
On that note,
Yeah,
this is a professional meeting.
it is.
It's a professional meeting. Snide remarks like that are not,
That's not snide. That's factual.
but it's snide. When we're, as president, the one thing I want to do is build rapport. And when we conduct ourselves that way, it's terse and it's uncalled for.
It was uncalled for on how he directed the conversation. So,
No, he had a legitimate question of a legitimate concern that he asked at a council meeting. He didn't do it in a bad intonation. He didn't do it out of spite. He did it to get clarification. This is great clarification. This is how we should be doing business. And now going forward, we know how to do business. But if we're going to go forward as two boards getting together, both boards need to stop the snidiness and the little wisecracks and just conduct ourselves with professionalism.
I would agree. Both
Okay.
boards should know how to do business together, meaning that challenging it in an open meeting, you should have all your facts straight before you challenge it. That's part about doing business. Pure and simple. He challenged it again without having facts.
He questioned.
He should have had his facts straight. And when I spoke with him after the meeting, he told me he has his First Amendment right to say whatever he wants, whether it's right or wrong. So we're going to move forward on this. It's my meeting. So now I want to continue on the bylaw conversation because, our attorney did watch the videos and he said there's some other things that were very concerning that occurred on those videos. So during the village council meeting that occurred on 11/6 in public comment on non-agenda items, accusations were made by Kim Shaw, our former DDA director, regarding our bylaws and actions of the chairman and our vice chair and treasurer. Those were repeated accusations that Ms. Shaw also made at a previous DDA meeting, all recorded on YouTube. Okay. The first one, American Legion building should not have been purchased, being that the DDA does not have enough funds in the budget and that the building is not located within the DDA boundaries. The following pages after that is going to prove that wrong. Okay. So the second one, Holly Miller, vice chair and treasurer, should not have handled the purchase of the building and should not have taken a commission on the sale. That too was thrown out there. Andy Rose, chairperson, should not have signed the purchase agreement. That was thrown out there. Via a previous DDA meeting he witnessed, Michelle also questioned if Andy Rose's employer was aware that he was on the Almont Board of Education, which has nothing to do with the DDA, but we're going to clarify that. So the next set is actually going to our bylaws that highlights the chairperson. What can the chairperson do? As chair, I sign all legal contracts. It's in our bylaws. So I can sign all the bylaws. I've made it very clear and very poignant that because of my licensing, because of what I do, I cannot be on the checkbook. I cannot be treasurer. I've never steered away from that fact. I'm here to sign legal documents. I'm okay with doing that. And actually, her statement of when she questioned me on the Board of Education thing with my employer, her response was, and we'll see about that, when I said I could do what I could do. The message to her from our legal through Edward Jones is, if you question it, they will be gladly willing to write her a letter in response. Okay? So if you take a look at the treasurer, I highlighted in there what the treasurer does, financial records, part of the budget. That's what they're there to do. Okay? But if you take a look at the DDA director, what does the DDA director doesn't have highlighted? Guess what they can't do? They don't have the power to sign any legal contracts. That's interesting. So we're gonna be coming to that very, very shortly. So let's go to this one type that is MCL section 125.4203. Per our attorney, the question about we bought property outside of the DDA area, that is very, very normal. It's called business expansion. It is what DDAs are supposed to do. Number 5, the governing body of the municipality may alter or amend the boundaries of the downtown district to include excluded lands from the downtown district pursuant to the same requirements for adopting the ordinance created by the authority. That's why we bought the building. This came from our attorney back when we bought it. Okay. I've also copied all the ordinances to prove why we can do it. It's been questioned over and over and over. Matter of fact, I think in that meeting, you even said, hey, I'll watch it just to make sure they did it right. We did it right. What I have included also is the emails. The emails from Holly, who,
Clarification, if you're quoting me, I didn't say I would see that they did it right. I said I would view them, I would
View it.
view
correct,
the meeting to get clarification. on what was
Clarification.
said.
correct. Yep, you're right. So if you take a look at the emails that are here, I screenshot the emails. You have Miss Holly Miller's email, fully disclosing what the BFI committee is. So we have a finance committee that reviews all this. I'm not on that. That determines how much money we have. And as the quoted approximately 370,000, I do have the P&L on the next sheet, but that shows how much money we had. The next two are the correspondence with myself and our attorney on setting up the purchase that okays her purchasing that and all the back and forth with who's doing the wire transfer. The wire transfer is actually done by Kim. I couldn't be on it. Holly couldn't be on it because that'd be a conflict of interest as treasurer because she's handling the purchase. All this was approved. Matter of fact, your person, Pete Feldman, asked your village manager to verify with your attorney. That's already been verified. But for transparency, because people say we're not transparent, here you go. So going to the next page, that is our balance sheet for March, back when they were making these decisions. These decisions show, look at what we have, $369,395.04. More than enough to spend $100,000 on a building. I have also a copy of our meeting minutes where we went through everything for the meeting minute and who had to abstain, who to do what, who could do the wire, who could do everything. That is in meeting minutes. That is also already recorded out there. So I have that there, okay? Now, the big question came is how can you afford that? You don't have enough money. I think that was the statement, right? Well, here's part of it. You'll see that we did a comparison of one of our biggest expenditures that we don't have anymore, and that was our billing from YSI, Yard Services. So you can see the amount of money that we have saved by switching to your DPW, thankfully. We saved $84,000 over 2 years. Pretty much the cost of a building. Now, that's maybe a little exaggerated because last year was a snow year at $3,400. But the total cost for DPW for 14 months was $28,000. That included everything, cutting grass, trimming trees, cold patching. So even if I use that figure, it's $34,000 of savings by not using Yard Services, or a little over a third of the building. But in reality, it's going to be closer to that $80-some thousand figure because a lot of those services we already use it DPW for. So when questioned, how do we miraculously come up with this money? Our BFI committee, as they're supposed to do, work through our finances and our budget. That is our treasurer's job to work for the budget. And that's what she did with that committee. So that should hopefully put those questions to rest on where the money came from. Now, let's keep going down the thing because the attorney wanted me to address this as well. So the next are contracts that were signed over the past years. Remember me going over the fact of who can and who can't sign a contract? This Yard Services contract back from 21-22, Kim Shaw signed as our DDA director. She had no power to sign that contract at all. Okay. The one next to it is the one that I signed when I became chairman. That one's correct. Funny that nobody's challenging that from this group that's been in here challenging what we're doing. I wonder why. I think it's for the fact that they're involved in that contract and got paid on it, right? I can sign it. She can't. Next page. Let's go to another contract that she never should have signed. As our attorney was reviewing everything, and we had him review our parking lot agreement, he was appalled and astonished, dismayed, and I don't know the other words I'm not going to repeat. But this is our use agreement we have with First Congregational Church. That occurred at the very same time where we were in a heavy legal battle over a parking lot. You know that one, Tim, right? Okay. Kim Shaw never actually had our attorney not only review this document, write it, do anything with it. That was written without any legal advice, which she should have done. Not only did she not have the attorney review it, she signed it. She never should have signed the contract. So my job as chairman since I've been here is try to fix a lot of these problems. So we can get called on the carpet for it. I don't care. We're moving forward and making sure that things happen correctly. That's been my goal since I've been here. This has been wrong. Okay. We've been working under it. There's not much we could do about it. That's it. So, but it's proof it was done incorrectly. And again, he's like, I am so shocked that, again, we're literally in a what, $50,000-$60,000 lawsuit, and you're not even asking me about another contract on some more parking. Anyway, that's done wrong, right? As far as for that, there was a question of Holly Miller not being able to make a commission on the sale. Come on. That was fully disclosed. That would be like, well, let's see, our former treasurer, Tracy Pawinski, who owned Yard Services, not be able to make a profit from doing services for us, which she obviously did. I showed that to you, but nobody's challenged that. But we're challenging Holly. Holly's done everything by the book. As a matter of fact, our attorney approved that before we did anything to it. Okay. So moving on, the other stuff that he has reviewed for us. Number 2 on this list is the Homecoming Committee, Almont Homecoming Committee. What has occurred? So here's the problem with this. The committee has been treated as a subset as village council. It is not. It is an independent public body as prescribed. Actually, there's some bylaws that turned up out of nowhere not too recently by Mr. Paul Bowman. The committee has actually been funded over the years by funds moved from the village, Almont DDA, millages, special tax assessments, resolutions, and most recently, an ordinance, garage sale ordinance 196, with a fee required to participate in the garage sale all the way through 2023. This is funded by village tax dollars, okay, under an ordinance. It is governed by OMA, which it has not been. The committee has a separate executive board appointed by village council with a chairman, a vice chair, treasurer, and secretary. It is its own separate public body. It has not been run that way. Ironically, the vice chair has changed the name on the announcements from Almont Homecoming Committee to Almont Homecoming Association on the Tri-City Times and Facebook announcements. That is not proper OMA standards. He can't do that. You can't, there's no authorization to make that happen. There was a meeting that occurred on November 12th, attended by the Vice Chair Jim Wade and Secretary Tracy Pawinski. Unfortunately, that was an illegal meeting. Why are we bringing this up? When we're talking about running our area, and you're telling me I'm making snide comments, you guys got to start running your area. This is underneath your village command. This has not had any oversight from the village in years. What has not been done? A yearly meeting schedule posted per the bylaws that I saw, proper meeting minutes, proper meeting announcements, approved meeting minutes, approved financial records, and bylaws published everywhere in public. The public can see it. It's not there. So where's the money? What's going on? Nobody knows. So unfortunately, you guys are in control over that. So it's a little frustrating when we get called on the carpet all the time that we're accused of not knowing what we're doing and questioning everything. You guys don't even have control over a committee that's got what, $20,000, $30,000? Okay. So we are filing for FOIA on all those, and whatever doesn't come back, we are going to be filing for an OMA violation with the state of Michigan. Hopefully going forward, you're going to spend time fixing your problem. All right. Now, those officers, we went back and searched. And we found back in 2019, Mike Connors, who's no longer with there, is the chair. Jim Wade is the vice chair. Tracy Pawinski is the secretary. Kim Kiesler is the treasurer. Also went through, found where garage sale permit supports homecoming, tax dollars. I've got screenshots in here where the vice chair called a special meeting, called it Almont Homecoming Association. That was not done correctly. It is governed by the village. Village should have had it posted out front. That is a legal meeting. Also on Facebook, I have that there. I have some other screenshots here pointing to the fact that back in the day, from the 70s, this one's 1976, a resolution was done, a special tax was done, a millage was done. So again, this is all taxpayer funds that you guys have had, no oversight of? I'm sure the public would love to know that. All right, let's move on to the next one. 114 South Main transparency. This one has been a point of contention for a while. The DDA has requested transparency on the dealings of this building multiple times. with emails, with conversations. Remember the meeting you broke into because we were starting to talk about it and you berated us in the middle of it, Tim. You yelled at it in front of Holly's son and she got pretty irate with you. Remember that? So now that you're in charge, we hope that you're going to offer transparency, not just to the DDA, but to the public on the dealings that happen with this property, because it's what the public needs to see. All right. I have in here a copy of the letter from the village disclaiming what their village manager, David Trent, did at the time as a special favor for now a former DDA member and a current village council member, Pete Feldman. All right. So what happened with this, and by the way, this is all on video too, so people can watch it, is unfortunately Ms. Feldman's property had a not functioning plumbing, right? And it happened for some time. But unfortunately, and per the video, she did not get an attorney as she should have hired because that would have been too costly. She didn't call CCA to file a complaint against the landlord because that would have put her out of business. So calls were made to David Trent to get involved to intervene. And David Trent made deals, a back-end deal with the two other business owners attached to let them attach that building to that property, acknowledged by this letter. What we don't have, which I've seen a copy of, and you guys have it, is the fact that David Trent offered 50% of water and sewer, 50% off water and sewer for them, what, indefinitely? If they would attach this building instead of running it underneath Van Dyke as they should, at the tune of $80,000-$90,000?
Yeah, at the time that occurred, we were not aware that Mr. Trent was taking those actions. Those actions did not become knowledgeable to us until after he was on leave.
Mm-hmm.
Once that was done, we contacted our village attorney and nullified any involvement.
Hold on, let me finish. And you are correct. That is the best course of action you can take. The hard part is there's still 3 points of major conflicts of interest here. A, he got involved. He never should have. He knew what the conflict was. They never should have asked him for help because that is a huge conflict of violation and using your authority to make things happen for deals that should not happen. You even acknowledged in here this was a landlord-tenant issue, never should have been involved. The third and the final act of problem with this is, and we have a copy of it here, is your closed session, right? This happened in December where Pete Feldman not only motioned to go into closed session on his wife's dealing of her property, he attended it. You have to abstain from that stuff. The hard part in a closed session, you can't prove you abstain because we can't see what's going on in closed session.
Attorney opinion on that was that he could attend.
Our attorney opinion is that is a huge conflict of interest. This is nothing more than a huge conflict of interest. There's no reason why he should have ever been involved in that conversation because the hard part is when he came out, there's actually nothing saying what you guys did with that closed session. So you should have either enacted or whatever. But I have posted here because we have heard rumblings, and we're going to FOIA for this as well. You might have waived the sewer connection for that building, doing that owner another favor for her to get her in there. I don't know, but we're going to FOIA to find out. So did you save them another $2,000 or $3,000? The hard part is it's the fact that we don't know what happened. You had somebody who has financial ties to the marriage. They should have never been in that meeting. If your attorney says different, fine. Our attorney says the other way. The hard part is no matter what, this whole thing was a huge conflict of interest. Them being involved from the get-go is a huge conflict of interest. It is a sad state that you guys didn't police that yourself. And you guys know if there's a known conflict of interest, yes, the person should say, hey, you guys should. So go back to your want. But we want transparency. We've asked for this many times. I got emails. I have everything on that we've sent over. Matter of fact, what was told to us is we wanted more deep information to the inner workings of the timing to this and the other. And what we kept getting told is when David Trent comes back from leave, we're going to question him. When David Trent came back from leave, you guys gave him a package and left. You didn't question him. You didn't find any more details as we were told. You paid him off and he went away. Same time you got rid of or paid off our police chief. Look, this is why the DDA has issues in dealing with things because as we do with our attorney, we fact check everything we do. I'm not making accusations. I don't have our people making deal with fact. Discussion is to go back to your village council and fix your problems. All right. Next one on there. Miscommunication about fire millage ballot language being spread online in the community. I wanted to address this because unfortunately, sadly, the community just gobbles on all of the wrong stuff. And actually, we had a couple firefighters that actually were commenting there that were saying very, very wrong things. And it's sad. It's sad. Thankfully, this passed, right? There was also language in the school board deal that didn't pass, but there's language that was left in here that could have been remediated before it happened if it was done correctly. And that is here. A portion of the revenue collected to be dispersed by the Village of Almont Downtown Authority in the fire millage. I think we're accused by one of them of, basically running our own separate millage, which isn't the case. This is the same language that was on the 2020 millage. We get approached by, I don't know how many a year, of municipalities, the ballot language, and asks us to forego capture. So that doesn't go on there, right? That hasn't been done, right? Our representative that had tied to the fire department back 4 years ago was supposed to let them know to do this. I don't know what happened. But unfortunately, that language was put on there because of the fact forego capture before. I'm always willing to entertain that, but I want the public to know that we didn't steal the money as we were accused. It didn't go to us first. It's not a separate millage, just a standard language. All they had to do was ask for us up front not to do it. The good part is I did talk to the LEC, Sam Moore, and on the back, you can see what it was. People were like accusing us of what it was. It basically our capture rate was $9,046.73 of roughly the 400,000. We've been getting that every year since 2020. Per Sam Moore, the fire chief can actually request in arrears. He's going to have to do it every year because it's not a one and done deal. So going forward, Chief Smith and say, hey, you're probably going to want to do this if you have any interest in us foregoing that. Not saying it's going to happen at this point because it's already ballot, but he can request. But I want to clear the air for everybody so they know we're not out trying to steal things. It's just normal standard language.
I received several inquiries about that and explained to them that it's always been that way, that there's have it removed. A couple of people said they might not vote for it because it's on there.
Yep.
And I said, you've been voting for it it's always been on there. So I don't,
Yep. Yeah, it's a sad state. I mean, I don't want any of these to get turned down because people are confused with what's going on. But I wanted to clear the air on that. We're going to let police chief or fire chief know.
The request has to come from the fire department.
Correct.
We have no authority
We have,
to alter or
Correct.
to,
they have to make an official request.
the request has to come.
And we're going to reach out to him and try to, again, now at this time, not what got missed before, but at this time, we're going to actually have a conversation with him, walk him through it as a team player to say, hey, if you want to do this, this is what we're willing to entertain. So that way he knows. Again, we've done it for Lupira, the veterans. We've done it for the library. We've looked up, I don't know, I lost track how many we looked up that we've done to not capture. So now it might make sense for us to capture only because we might contract for services, but we'll have to make that determination with fire. Okay. Again, we just want to be transparent on this. We're accused of not being transparent, so we're going to give you all the transparency you want going forward. We receive FOIAs; those are public record. We're going to start posting those on our webpage.
one quick response to that. The concerns for the village, I will take those back to the village manager and we'll look through them. We discussed the homecoming issue at our village council workshop last night prior to our meeting. So that is being looked at to be addressed and was starting to be addressed last night.
Good. As it should, but it should be done in a public forum because that's been going on for quite a long while. Per our attorney, and again, it's your baby, you guys deal with it, but his recommendation on who the person that wrote those bylaws obviously has no legal background to write them. If you want to keep it going, he suggested you probably write some real bylaws to them. All right. Okay. Let's go to snowflakes.
I have to follow that. Our snowflakes were repainted last year. I have rope lighting. Do we want to try to light them?
Ones that we had painted.
Yes, I will need a little help if we want a snowflake lighting party. And I only got one order of the rope light to see if they will work, but I just Amazon it, so it'll be here. If it does work, we can.
Those go up.
Huh?
When do those?
They're gonna go up whenever we want them to.
Do
Before
we
the
make-
holiday parade.
But after the small businesses, that what we Saturday, there was like
Yeah,
an issue or something.
The DPW they work with us really well. So whenever I have them, I have the rope light and the snowflakes. So to at least try it out, I'm not an electrician. I do not know that I can rope light them myself, I guess is what I'm saying. So if anyone would like to help me attempt it, we can try.
What's
and
the
see what
time?
it
What's
looks
the
like
time frame on it?
this week?
Coming up?
Obviously, we can put them up. Well, just to try one. I don't have enough rope to light all of them because I wasn't sure that it was gonna.
All right.
Work.
Well, why don't we elicit some volunteers for that after that one? We don't need to do in a meeting if people are willing to.
No, it's just discussion. I was just
Yeah.
putting it out there.
Yeah, if people are willing to it. Just for you weren't on it before, but we had all of our snowflakes sandblasted, repainted with a nice white with a gold flake. It was actually done by EdTech last year from the kids. So great job they did an amazing job too. They used to be lighted. We peeled all that off. That was not fun. But the question is lighting them again. So.
With LED lights this time and that. So yeah, we can talk about that if anyone would be interested in helping me attempt it.
How many do we have to do?
16.
16. All right, let's move forward on that. If anybody is, send a text out. We'll just get a lighting party if we can. I know next 2 weeks for me are kind of crazy, but I'm more than willing to help if we can find a time.
Oh, also, this does not have to deal with the snowflakes, but Connie texted me from American Tree and said, just to keep us updated, she did have to order a second strand of lights for our tree downtown because one of the strands was burnt out. So just so we're aware. Next, Small Business Saturday, I'm getting the punch cards printed and distributed, hopefully Friday, Monday at the latest. Any other questions or discussion before I move on to holiday?
No, let's do holiday. Small businesses, just for everybody to learn, it's just a punch card program for the businesses that are open, and there's a gift basket at the end.
If
Right?
you get 5 or more punches, you are entered into a raffle for a gift basket of Almont business goods.
You go to the business.
Go to the
Make
business.
make a purchase at a business. It's actually going to be Friday and Saturday to give people 2 days.
So the
but
goal is to get people going into all the businesses. Once you hit all
Restaurants.
6, is it 6 or 8?
5 punches.
5, sorry.
There's spots for 10, but
Yeah.
5, and you can be entered. Last year was Ford Field Small Business Saturday, and we still had probably over 50 punch cards turned in. So it was a good turnout for most of Elmont not being in Elmont. Holiday Light Festival and Parade. I have been coordinating with the library. They are going to do their kids holiday party, holly jolly holiday party on the same day as holiday this year to add another kids activity. We also have a face painter. Sparkles the Clown is coming. She will be in Mikey's face painting. We have a balloon artist who will be in Senor Victor's doing balloons, and a photo booth, winter themed, that will be in Roots. So we have 3 more kids activities and then the library party as well. So we pretty much have activities from 11 o'clock in the morning until the parade ends at 9 o'clock at night, which is what we have been aiming to do. Last year we added the cornhole tournament, and we've been trying to turn it into an all-day festival instead of just a parade. Flyer for the cornhole tournament is in here. It's also posted on the event page, and the organizer has posted it as well. It's going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. And then I believe the approval from MDOT is in here. And we got approval last night from Village Council to close East St. Clair for the cornhole tournament and fire pits. And Dale reminded me this morning that we can use the fire pits donated by Creekside.
Mhm.
So we won't need to use the wood one. So we won't have to wait for the fire to go out. I mean, we can use it because I like the smell, but we can use it in the pocket park or something.
Right. Thank you. Any questions on holiday?
I know that at our last meeting, we talked about doing the balloon artist and the face painter, because I believe the photo booth to rent it was pretty pricey for when we looked into it for Heritage Festival. Do we know how much?
It was, so when we talked at the last meeting, we were gonna have a glitter tattoo person, and we decided to nix the glitter tattoos. The photo booth is gonna just be the same. It's like $300 for 3 hours. So-
Okay.
And it comes with unlimited. They have
Pictures?
someone run it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so it's like just swapping out the glitter tattoos for the photo booth.
Okay.
Any other discussion on holiday?
I have not had luck yet finding a bagpiper who is not already booked. I know I'm trying. Don't tell your mom yet. But I just wanted to,
We'll keep trying.
like,
This could be the highlight.
It'll be the best part. I
anyone can learn how to play the bagpipes in the next 2 weeks.
wonder
Or
if someone from like the band, like high school, could like.
play the bag.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
what
know.
thought.
We can find out for the band. I doubt it.
I don't
Doubt
know.
there's-
I can.
It's not a popular instrument.
The wife's involved with the
And
band, so.
anyone who does it like for a living is like, contact me, get me on the schedule for next year,
Yeah.
because I'm booked. But I will keep looking.
Do we have something out for volunteers already to sign up for, to help us out with this?
For the parade?
Mhm.
No, but I
Say
will
last
get
year,
a sign
we
up.
tackled ourselves, but we should probably
We
get more
need
help.
help. Yeah, we need, like, down there. And
I'll get that out
hopefully, can we, Dale, I don't know if you're able to talk to the police department, or you'll have more police to help us out, 'cause that parking lot is big, and there were so many safety issues when I was helping set up the parade.
We also have way more
Barricades?
barricades. So
Okay.
I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna barricade off one of the driveways. And we
Okay.
can even barricade
Can
the
they,
bus loop
so
and move
the
it.
bus loop, so that they can't get through from the other way?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that was just
Interesting.
wild.
It would,
Yeah, it
We
was
almost got
dangerous.
run
Yeah,
over
almost hit
several
by
times.
people, yeah. right, thank you.
The only comment I'd want to make is I did watch last night for the road closure part, and there seemed to be, again, a lot of concerns about the safety aspect of it, or we're doing this to harm the businesses. That's not the goal of the DDA, right? I mean,
No, we understand that. There's twofold concern. One, businesses on the west side, there were a couple of businesses said they thought it might affect their business because it's a high volume business day for them. And with the closure and the safety and with the closure there on at that intersection, they thought would affect some of their business. A couple of council members had received comments from those businesses. The second one is the safety of turning onto 53 from either Washington or Huff, because those are your main access points. It increases the traffic down Bristol and Washington, and that turnoff of Washington, if you've ever made it, is tight as it is. So for the biggest concern was not closing it, but the extended time that it was closed. And that doesn't come just from various council members over the past year with the extended closures, because we extended the Heritage Festival closure through Thursday, I believe, this year. We've received many inquiries from residents in respect to having to go down to Huff or having to cut through to Washington and make that left-hand turn. So those were the concerns that were discussed.
well, obviously we don't want safety problems,
Right,
right?
exactly.
So a couple things. The rationale with closing that off is to bring more people downtown. So they are spending more money during the day.
And we
right?
understand that.
Yeah.
We totally understand.
And we do put out signage at all the corners for pedestrians to help with that. I mean, in the end, I mean, it's an inconvenience for a day, but I think unless we need some other police or some other signage or whatever, we're open to whatever idea. But I know that section of road is going to be closed for weeks or not months. So you're going to have the same when you do the road work on it, right? Obviously that's going to be a concern then, right? So if there are other ideas to help mitigate anything, if there's concerns, we need signage, we need police, let's talk about it to see what we can do to help, because you're going to have the same problem with the roads closed down.
And I think that's one of because the road closed, there always seems to be debate around the road closures. And I don't think it's an animosity thing. I just think it's a conversational thing that maybe that's one of the perfect topics for the appointed committee to discuss. So in future plans, we have expected protocol from both sides and can let the citizens know at an earlier time that it's going to be occurring.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever we got to work with it. So I just wanted to kind of chat through that. Old business, Mercure trick or treat.
Went great.
It's crazy. We almost gave away everything. The amount of people that came up to me and said how great it was.
The amount of kids that came down Washington into the Courier subdivision was probably almost double from last year. And they started earlier. They were knocking on the door at 5:45. So we felt the impact in the neighborhoods too.
Yeah, I ran out of candy at 7:10.
I think the nice weather probably helped that.
It did.
I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't nice, but it was not raining.
I had a lot of parents comment, thank you for making those signs that went on the four corners of the road, because drivers were a lot more aware. They weren't coming flying into the intersection. And thank you for having we didn't have any police presence last year. We had Kevin down there. He was on every corner, which was a huge help as well. So I appreciate that.
Thank you to DPW too for the
Yes.
signage.
Yeah.
And the police department was, in past years, maybe once I saw police presence in my neighborhood at least 3 or 4 times throughout the night. So
Same.
Anything else on trick or treat? Yeah. Now let's talk about the fountain cover. That's the next topic. So kind of give you the lay of the land, what's been occurred. We voted to do a shrink wrap to it. What we agreed to with the shrink wrap, and it's changed a little bit, it's a white shrink wrap. The gentleman who's doing the shrink wrap is actually going to make a frame for it. He does this for plenty of municipality fountains. This is normal what he does. He's also going to put lights on the inside of the white so we could plug it in. So it will have lights at night for festive stuff. So that is all included in the $750 charge. So we already agreed with him. We already told him we're going to go ahead and do it. I think he might have even started working on the frame, I believe. So that's the path we went down. We stalled it a little bit. Dale came to us with some solutions. Somebody had $1,000 option, which wasn't $1,000. It turned into $5,000. The hard part with that, it's about 2,500 pounds worth of weight that Legacy's currently doing, which I did talk to our brick person. He's okay with that much weight. The hard part is if it's moving around and it's 4 individual sheets of metal, which is more than 500 each. And if it shifts, he's worried about that. So that's the biggest concern. So if the village is doing the olive branch and we're looking to do something, it would have to be the aluminum one that we originally offered, or we got the specs on. That one's only about 400 pounds. But at this point in time, you guys have to decide. We already have that gentleman going forward doing what we're doing. If we're going to stop it, you're going to have to change. We're going to have to make a motion to change everything around. But again, we're 2 to 3 weeks out. We could do the 750. It's already scheduled to get done. If it doesn't look good, they're already willing to pay for it. We put it in. We do it next year. He did tell us the shrink wrap and everything should last at least about 3 years. So for 750, we're getting 3 years worth out of it. So it just depends on your guys' feeling.
My feeling is with the cost of repairs that have been over the last 2 years, is this something that we want to continue putting money in the fountain? Because if we do take that offer from the village to pay for the cover, then I feel like we're kind of stuck with the reoccurring maintenance.
Fountain has been a big point of contention with everybody. The amount of repairs and everything that's done with it. So I don't know.
I would suggest putting hold with the village office until we get past the festivities and we can sit down and look at what it has cost over the last 5 to 10 years just for maintenance. And then go with the shrink wrap this year.
I think didn't we pull the total we've had into that?
I know it was on,
Oh, it's probably 20 grand over the last 6 years, 7 years.
What's that encompass? A bunch of brickwork and repairs
No.
or the water pump?
leakage, repairs.
Water bills.
So water bills, so we have to winterize it. We have to summarize it. Unfortunately, kids put bubbles in there. We've had to crack pipes and blow the motor. Most recently, the motor cavitated and didn't stop running. That's why our water bill was $744. But it ended up burning that out. I think that repair was $900. We did have the
Which
brickwork
would be
done.
was my only concern about having such a heavy cover on is I was with our mason when he did the brickwork and I saw how loose the caps were before. My only concern was if they're sliding a flat thing on, all that weight pushing on the caps. But as our mason said, as long as it's
Plus, if you get a heavy snow, you're adding a bunch more weight on top of that.
So if we do the 2,500 pound scenario, there has to be a frame built underneath because it won't support itself. The aluminum frame is going to be built somewhat similar to ours now, so it's going to have sides to it. But that will have a frame. It would be flat per Dale. We could, then we could stack stuff on it, what have you.
decorate it.
Hmm?
We could decorate it.
We could decorate it. So basically, we can either stick what we're doing to have lights, it's going to look decorated, or we scrap that and go with Dale's offer, or we go with what we're doing with future thought process of entertaining that offer. But we need to know what the board wants to do. And like I said, we've worked together hand in hand. He's come up with a couple ideas. I did a straw poll of the board at the last one for the 5, because we were going to pay like $5,000 for that 2,500 pound deal. And everybody at the time said, no. Actually, a couple people said bulldoze the fountain, but or hope for a random car, one of the two.
Just to clarify, we weren't trying to rush to have the shrink wrap to, I didn't even know about, the village didn't even make the offer or talk about it until last night.
Right.
But I'm getting yelled at by the fountain guy on a daily basis, asking why the fountain is not covered and.
Yeah, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So
With all
whatever
the
gets
rain,
done
there's-
has to be on the fly.
There's
And if-
water built up in there, so now he has to come back out, or DPW is gonna have to
Correct.
clear the water out
It
before
sh-
it starts
it
freezing.
should
Right now,
have-
it's the essence of time to get the thing covered so we don't have
Right.
major issues of water sitting in there and cracking. Because it's going to get cold tonight, and we've been lucky so far. But if they can get the plates made fairly quick, which
We're 2-3 weeks out
Yeah.
at the minimum.
I work for a metal company, it's not an easy task to get that stuff done, especially right now. I think the approach we're going right now with makes the most sense. Just get it covered to prevent any additional damage for now. I mean, it is a cost, but it's not a huge cost. And it gets you 3 years while we figure out a long term and look at the cost to maintain it.
It's a good discussion. All we need is a motion to either accept their offer, delay their offer, or whatever.
Is the offer still gonna be there though?
Well, isn't it? It's coming from well, you don't even know if you have hold on. It is a DTE grant that was originally for the fire pit, which would be used. No, that's not happening. So then it would just be
He
paid.
just said that they were just gonna do it. They're
Just to
just
pay
gonna pay for it.
Okay. So at this point in time, it's just going to be paid for.
And the problem might be a second good topic for the committee. I know it's a DDA thing, but the village might look into helping support it.
As you want to split it 50-50 or do something with it. It's a process.
So
Just
I
is.
think that's a good discussion point to add to that list too.
So I guess at this point in time, we have the path we're already going down. We agreed to last meeting. Are we changing that? I need a motion from somebody to say either we're changing the path or we're just going to make that a future discussion. If you guys are willing to pay for it now or later, then we'll go that direction. But I need to hear from the
If
board.
we postpone to next year, is that offer going to be valid?
Yeah, we've offered it. So we've offered it. So
I would make a
we
motion.
we were in discussion. Council was in full support of doing that. So
Because of time and winter is going to be here tomorrow, I would make a motion to postpone the village offer to discuss next year when we go through finances and see what we can do with working with the village if they want to assist, and go the route with the shrink wrap this year.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I don't know.
She doesn't want to spend any more
I don't
money
want to
on
spend
it.
any money on the fountain, and if we're not shrink wrapping and they're willing to pay for it, then we're not spending any money on the shrink wrapping.
Yeah,
Um,
but with the ground temperature still being warm right now, we're in a time crunch. We're at the end of November. Winter's going to be here, and as soon as that freezes and those pipes have water in them, they're going to burst, and we're going to be spending thousands more to fix it.
Well, did we say when the guy was going to be out to do shrink wrapping?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, I thought you said a few weeks from now.
And the cover.
should
No,
have
will-
that's the hard cover.
and there's a commitment to that, gentleman. I mean, we already started doing work on it for you that you think. So
Yeah, building the frame. Didn't you say that, Andy?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
I mean,
He's already got the materials. I know he's getting materials earlier. I mean, you can look at it this way. Hey, for $750, which is the cheapest we've done anything on that thing, at least you're going to get a view for it and go, wow, that looks pretty good. Or you might go, that's horrible. The offer's out there. We at least have it run for the winter.
And since I'm new, and I think you said it earlier, the clarification, other municipality, I can't talk to me. Other municipalities have done this, and it does do a good job of protecting the fountain.
He's the one that came up with the idea of building the frame because he does them.
Okay.
And that's what he stated. He's
plus
like,
you're going to have the light there for things, right? He's going to put a light inside of it.
he's
so
doing
it's-
lights like Christmas lights
The
deal.
Yeah.
frame will be wrapped in lights and they will be
I
able
guess
to be color
To
changed.
clarify, my question is though, this process will protect the piping and everything that needs to be
Yeah, because it'll keep
Correct.
water and everything
So
away from it.
The pipes are winterized, so the problem is
Water getting in the fountain and sitting and
Correct.
freezing
which is
and
why.
thawing and it's moving that concrete in every which way.
Yes, so as long as it keeps the inside dry, any kind of cover will work. We could put a we'll cover over it if we wanted to. Anything that will keep
Tacky.
And we're
the,
not trying to make it look bad.
No.
I
And
know,
he's,
that's not what, that wasn't my point. I just want to make sure that if we're going that route, that it's proper protection, which it sounds like it is.
Mhm. So we had a motion, we had further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so that's the path we're going. Thank you for the offer.
I
We're gonna
really
go down
want a
this.
Christmas tree on there at some point. so-
Right,
Yeah,
so
Which
let's
makes
see how
sense.
it is. We'll put it on the committee and go from there, okay? All right, well, that's it for that. Any public comments on a non-agenda item? Nope, cool. Any board questions or comments?
I have a question about those demolition for the old American Legion Hall. We had the one bid, correct? And we needed two more to move forward with doing that project. I'm assuming this is not going to be done until spring because it's already so late.
Correct.
So have we received any additional bids from anybody?
I had one other bid.
Okay.
I have one other company that is gonna come out, but I was waiting for, we got legal clearance for purchasing the building.
Okay.
But I'm waiting on
So we
Doug
just-
to give us clarification if we can spend money demolishing it before we
Okay.
add it or don't add it to the DDA boundary.
But that said, if that can't be done, with the plan B to, as discussed earlier, ask the municipality to adopt that into the DDA?
Yeah, that's all we have
Is
to
that the
do.
plan of action?
Or the
So-
plan of action would be we just couldn't spend TIF funds on it. So we could spend revenues from like another revenue stream, like we could have businesses sponsor we just couldn't use TIF funds.
Any specified DDA funds, but you're still waiting on an opinion on that, correct?
So no, so per the attorney, what his recommendation is if you are gonna put that into your DDA district, see what else maybe you want to include at the same time, and then write it for that. So what we have to do, is basically brainstorm to say, hey, is there any other areas we want to add at the same time? Because if you're gonna write it, you gotta write all the boundaries and all that stuff to go through that headache. He said.
Do it
you're better off
once.
doing more. And so, and the crazy part is if you look at our TIF plan that's filed, they talked about expansion. One map, and that's the hard part. We're attached to the other building. One map actually has that line going directly through the middle of it. One shows that it's encompassed the whole thing. The hard part is our property lines are not great out here, right? So that's the whole part that's collusion with it. We might, after survey, prove that it's already there. It doesn't matter. So there's a few things we got to work through. But he brought up a valid point to say, hey, if you're going to do it, why don't you see what else you want to add at the same time frame? And we got to have a deeper discussion on that.
Which, is there a committee that's gonna be doing that, working with that? Or do we need to make a new committee? Like, which one would that fall under?
I think that should fall under
Finance?
the committee that,
The one, if we're
if we're
doing,
talking about expansion, that should fall with the committee that's working with the village.
so then we are
Correct.
agreeing to.
Right, because we're going to need
Because the
them to
village
write it.
is gonna have to have the expansion approval.
So then are we like saying that we are on board with having 3 people from our board?
I think we should.
I think we should. I think that if that's something that we need to, this needs to be addressed sooner than later. So
As he
it's
said,
not
we
just
can
saying,
own
yeah.
it the way it is indefinitely. It's just a matter of doing anything with it.
Yeah,
So-
but if we're looking to expand the district, then getting together with them, that would be nice to do that, and not just leave it out there. Yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Are we putting that on next month's?
Put it on
agenda?
next month's agenda. We'll work on picking who it is. That way you guys will know who's willing to do it. Maybe get a game plan of how often we're planning to meet. What?
And Angela and Dale can maybe have some of those conversations leading up to the meetings or the planning of the committee, or should that be through us?
Dale and I already had this conversation.
Never mind.
Do we have a meeting next month?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thought you were off.
Yeah, we have,
What the date is.
yeah. We're
I
too
wanna-
busy now.
So for
I wanna say the
clarification on the
18th.
committees, this board's in agreement that it's a good idea. It's gonna be on your agenda to appoint a committee next meeting. We'll do the same with village council. And then once the committee's formed, then we can plan dates and topics.
Mhm,
Although we've already come out with 3 topics in this meeting.
mhm,
Does that sound like the game plan?
mhm.
I'm just writing the third topic, so I can give it to Dale when we coordinate. He didn't find that funny.
All right. Any other board questions or comments? Anybody? All right.
Welcome, Tim and Scott and Charlie. We'll welcome him next meeting. But
Yes.
Thank you.
we're glad to have you guys.
And Tim, I'm going to tell you, we want to work together with the village. We always have been. Sadly, it's always felt like a one-way street with a lot of the stuff that has occurred.
I'm aware of that, and there's been talk of me being in this position for several months. I think me and you have started to try to make inroads to make that happen. And as the president of the village council, that is something we need to do. So we just need to start building that relationship.
Well, and I've told them all here, I'm like, I'm actually been encouraging coming out because I think you're going to get a different view of what we do here by being a lot more involved. So,
And no, I agree. And I think that, I think I've understood, and maybe you're in the perception that I've been anti you guys, and I don't think that's the case.
no, I don't think it's anti. I think it's a knowledge base, right? And taking the time to understand what we're doing. And I think by you being here doing that, maybe you'll be able to communicate a little bit better than what was going on before. When it comes to questions in the meetings, like, the hard part is when people are going down that path of being questionable because they're trying to, it looks like they're trying to portray God out there. Speak up and go, hey, they've already discussed this how many times? They've already answered this for you. Why are we going down this path again? We're wasting our time on that stuff. There's a lot of good stuff that we can do. I didn't want to spend hours and hours and hours with our DDA attorney, but it needed to be done. And he's pointed out some other things too that we're going to be working through. But that's how we do things. I'm making sure that we're dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's because I don't want us to get in trouble. I don't want our people to get in trouble. And I don't want us to waste our time on the wrong stuff. So, we all want to work together. At the end, we're volunteers. We're not elected. I don't get paid to come to this meeting. You do. I know it's not much, but we get
This meeting's
not this one.
meeting's
Your other
a
one.
freebie.
But
And planning commission's a freebie. So.
nobody here is doing anything other than trying to make the community better, and we get nothing out of this other than that. Other than beat up all the time, and that's on Facebook. And the attorney's got copies of all that stuff too, which is nice. Gotta love when people put stuff on social media. Oh, you're probably smart. Well, it's good. But anyway, going forward, my goal is I want them to be conducive, but you have some things you need to fix, right? And I urge you for the community, for transparency, you do that in a public light and deal with your problems. So hopefully they'll get corrected. Okay. Anybody else? All right. 8:30. Let's adjourn the meeting. Good. Cool.